Dawn breaks, but this is no peaceful morning. On the Pentagon satellite feed, a massive formation comes into view. 4 Type 055 destroyers, 2 Type 075 amphibious assault ships, and over 20 escort vessels, all silently cutting through the waves, heading straight for the Taiwan Strait. On their decks, thousands of Marines stand ready. Above, stealth drones sweep every square mile ahead. This is the moment China launches the boldest naval move in its history, but what they don't know is that beneath those calm waters, an enormous trap is waiting for them. At 0542, Taiwan's coastal defense network picks up the first radar signature, a lead destroyer just 40 nautical miles from the shore. Within seconds, the order is given: activate the kill zone. Submerged in strategic positions, U.S.-built Virginia-class submarines and Taiwan's new indigenous Hai Kun subs power up their torpedo tubes. Meanwhile, mobile missile batteries hidden in coastal tunnels, armed with Harpoon Block 2 and Hsiung Feng 3 missiles, lock onto their targets. At precisely 5:50, the first wave launches. Harpoons streak just above the waterline, their radar seekers locked in. The lead Type 055 never has a chance. A deafening blast tears it apart, the shock wave throwing debris skyward. Before the Chinese fleet can regroup, more missiles slam into their formation. Overhead, USMQ-9B Sea Guardian drones feed live targeting data, ensuring every shot counts. In less than 5 minutes, the ambush has begun, turning China's unstoppable advance into a nightmare. Panic spreads through the Chinese formation. Commanders bark orders to break formation and push forward, but each maneuver exposes them to more danger. From the east, Taiwanese F-16Vs streaking low, launching AGM-84S LAMER missiles. The Type 075 assault ship Jiangsu takes a direct hit to its hangar deck. Flames erupt, ammunition cooks off. The fireball is visible for miles. Smaller Type 056 corvettes attempt to shield the damaged capital ships, but become easy prey for waiting submarines. In the control room of one Virginia-class sub, a torpedo officer calmly reports, "Target acquired, firing." Moments later, a Type 056 disappears beneath the surface. What was supposed to be a clean, decisive amphibious landing is unraveling into a disaster at sea. At 0605, the People's Liberation Army Air Force sends in J-16 fighters to provide cover. But U.S. and Taiwanese forces have prepared the skies just as carefully as the seas. From the deck of the USS Ronald Reagan, F-35C Lightning IIs launch in pairs, climbing high above the battlespace. Their AESA radars paint the incoming J-16s, and AMRAAM missiles streak out at beyond visual range. Within minutes, the PLAF loses 5 fighters. Their formations break apart. Meanwhile, Taiwanese Patriot PAC-3 batteries on shore intercept incoming cruise missiles, keeping the coastal defenses intact. The tide of the air battle shifts. Without air cover, the Chinese fleet below becomes a floating shooting gallery. But Beijing isn't ready to give up. As the main fleet takes heavy losses, China's cyber units unleash a coordinated digital offensive, targeting Taiwan's power grid, communications, and even the satellite links between U.S. and allied forces. For a brief moment, targeting data flickers. Missile guidance systems switch to backup modes, but the disruption is short-lived. U.S. Cyber Command had anticipated this play. Counter-intrusion teams shut the attack down within minutes. Under the surface, a Chinese UN-class submarine tries to slip past the defensive perimeter. Using ultra-quiet propulsion, it creeps within firing range of the USS Chancellorsville, but an American P-8A Poseidon patrol aircraft, armed with sonobuoys and Mk-54 torpedoes, detects the intruder. One torpedo drop, and the UN class never surfaces again. Every shadow move Beijing makes is met with an even sharper counterstroke. 0605 in Beijing. Inside an emergency command room, senior PLA officers stare at the operational map. Their spearhead has been blunted, their air cover shredded. The only card left is the Thunder Strike, a massive missile barrage aimed at Taiwan's defensive network, hoping to punch open a corridor for whatever's left of the fleet. On the mainland, DF-17 hypersonic missiles and PHL-16 rocket artillery roll into position. Radar arrays along the Fujian coast search for a weakness. At 0622, dozens of DF-17s roar off their launchers. Mach 10 speed, maneuverable glide warheads heading for Taitung Air Base in Keelung Harbor. But U.S. and Taiwanese defenses are ready. Aegis ashore batteries fire SM-6 Block IB interceptors, racing at nearly Mach 4 to meet the threat. Each intercept blossoms into a blinding fireball in the morning sky. Some missiles slip through. One strikes a southern supply depot, causing significant damage. But the core of Taiwan's defenses remains intact. In Washington, the National Security Council convenes. Military advisors warn Beijing may escalate, and this time they might not stop at conventional weapons. The shadow of nuclear escalation begins to stretch over the Pacific. By 6:45, the western waters of Taiwan are a graveyard of steel. Over 60% of the Chinese fleet committed to the assault has been sunk or crippled. Above, F-35Cs and Mirage 2005 US maintain combat air patrols, ensuring no enemy vessel gets close. But in every command center, celebration is muted. Everyone knows this is not over. In Beijing, state media blames American and Taiwanese provocation. Strategic missile forces go to full alert. In Washington, the president addresses the nation. We will defend freedom of navigation and Taiwan's right to self-defense by any means necessary. The statement rattles global markets. Oil surges past $150 a barrel. The Dow drops over 2,000 points in a single day. In Tokyo, Canberra, and Seoul, parliaments convene emergency sessions, bracing for the worst-case scenario. Intelligence from the CIA and DIA estimates the PLA Navy will need at least 5 to 7 years to recover from these losses. But asymmetric retaliation and psychological warfare are likely to intensify in the months ahead. Taiwan, though holding the line, pays dearly. Over 1,200 troops lost, hundreds of civilians wounded, ports and infrastructure damaged. The sea is calm now, but in people's hearts the storm still rages. Satellite images of the wreckage, drifting hulls, oil slicks stretching for miles, become symbols of a costly lesson. Superior technology can win battles, but preventing war requires far more than weapons. And in the Pacific, the race to prevent the unthinkable is far from over.